Aloha and mahalo for having me. Thank you. All right, so just a few updates. As John mentioned, he's going to take back over and provide even more updates. But for first-time home buyer opportunity program, we have 26 families that are out there shopping for homes. And as of, I believe, Friday this week, we'll have 5 households that have closed on their properties and moved into their housing. So yay! Awesome. So application numbers have not changed since last time. Obviously, we've stopped accepting applications for that program. So those are remaining standard, and we're continuing to work through the rest of those applications to determine eligibility. Just a couple of notes. We have received some questions about the prioritization for first-time homebuyer assistance. So for this program, the first priority folks are those that were displaced by the fire, so lived within the burn zone at the time of the fire in August 23, and also have an income 80% AMI or less, so 80% of the area median income or less. At this point, like we've talked about before, those households that are priority ones are the ones that are going to be receiving the first-time homebuyer assistance. Because of the overwhelming number of applications at this point, it's not looking like we're going to be able to get to those other tiers. So priority 3 and priority 4 folks should have received a letter letting them know that. The priority 2 folks, we're still going through and verifying income, and they will receive notification as that income is verified. I also want to emphasize this first come, first ready. So there are lots of applicants in there that have applied like day one the program opened, but have not yet responded with documents that have been requested by their program specialist. So if you have applied and haven't heard anything, it's likely that your program specialist is trying to reach out to you via phone or email. So you want to get a hold of them as soon as you can, because your applications are being processed as we receive documentation. If you aren't sure and want to talk to somebody, we have a table of lovely folks right here that can help you today. They're also available at the Lahaina Resource Center as well as the Maui Mall, the Kahului location. But please be responsive when you get requests. If you can turn those around within a week, maybe less, that would be really helpful to help move the eligibility process along. And that applies not only for the first-time homebuyer, but also for the reconstruction program. If you've applied to that, make sure that you're being responsive and getting those documents back. If you need help, these folks can help you as well. Like I said, if you're not ready right now, come on over to the centers, give us a call, and we can help you find those documents and get the things that you need to get ready. As we continue to progress through the programs, I wanted to remind everyone about the timelines associated with the program. So reconstruction program, once you apply, it does take a couple of months to get through eligibility. From there, like I said, as soon as we get your documents back, we can move through the eligibility process and start working on environmental reviews for your property. We're very close to having the necessary paperwork ready for the environmental reviews to start. So the sooner we can get paperwork back, the faster we can move in the direction of working towards that construction start, which is that big box in the center there. Once construction starts, just a reminder, it's potentially a 12 to 15 month process, depending on where your home is at. We'll dive into those individual timelines with anyone who's an applicant, talk through what the construction timelines look like. If you have any questions related to your specific case or want to know more even about the program and how long it's going to take, let us know. We can answer all of those specifically. All right, so for reimbursement, again, if you have already reconstructed your home, so reminder for reimbursement, you have to have your home completely done before you submit an application. If your home has been completed and you submitted an application, it does take a few months to get through the intake and eligibility process. Once that is complete, it takes approximately 3 to 4 months for that reimbursement check to happen. So if you've applied maybe a couple of days ago, don't expect a check tomorrow. It's going to take a little while for all of that process to work out, but we will evaluate, and the program specialist will reach out to you and let you know if you've been approved. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to John.
I should probably just let Jeannie keep going, but I'll jump back in. So The multifamily rental housing programs, these are not the first-time homebuyer ones. These are not the reconstruction for single family. These are the multifamily. We opened up applications for those. We've received applications and we're processing them now for both recon and newcon. The one that we can talk about is the Front Street Apartments project. So that project, a state project, it is under review, but it's looking likely that it'll be eligible for funding from DR to help fill that gap. So if you guys remember when we first came in to talk about DR funding's meant to fill the gap from all the other programs. So they have to use their insurance and they have to use their FEMA money, and then DR comes in and makes it whole. So we're looking at helping to fund the Front Street Apartment project, and that's just one of them. I've lost the clicker again, I'm sorry. And then, that's the housing projects on the multifamily side, but while that's going, we know that we have a lot of work to do in infrastructure and public facilities. So we've been working with our infrastructure departments, like Shane in particular, water supply, you guys know Chemo, Jordan at Public Works, all those departments, they all have big projects. And Mayor, right there, I didn't realize it was on the slide, but maybe at the end we can talk about that one. But one of those projects is the northern bypass that is being applied for right now by the state. We have $563 million available for that program, so that's a combination of a couple programs and lots of really good big projects to help housing. Mitigation is another one of the set-asides in the action plan, and it gets used in combination with infrastructure, and it's strategic. One of the strategic pieces of mitigation, and this is a question that we get, because the CDBG-DR fund is primarily meant for us to help build back houses and to keep our infrastructure working well to support those houses. But HUD also says, hey, if you're going to do this, you need to invest in mitigation projects. One of the mitigation projects that we've identified, this was through the public action plan process, was funding a buyout program. We've talked about that in the past, but this gives a little bit more detail about that program. This is specifically for the historic districts 1 and 2, and it's all that property, Mackay of Front Street, that maybe that folks would want to engage with us in terms of selling to the county for public space. So that's the essence of the program. There's more details there, and that's actually part of our action plan updates that are going through right now. I think this slide's a little bit out of place, but you guys do remember the Resource Center hours of operation. If you need to see us, come see us in Lahaina or come see us in Kahului at the Maui Mall. If you need updates on anything to do with our CDBG-DR program and Hoʻokumu Hou, this is the site. There's a link on Maui Recovers directly to this site right on the front page, so they work interchangeably, but this is the site that HUD requires the county to own and maintain. So if you notice, it's a .gov site. We have to do it that way because of the HUD funding. So we came in with the action plan. We made a few updates to it. I've already talked about the hazard mitigation buyout program that gives a little bit more detail on that one. These are a few of the other updates in the action plan amendment. So, you know what? I'm going to have Jeannie come back up. That's too much. Can you do this?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So for single family new construction, remember I just talked about the, I'm going to skip to the second one first. Okay. So I'm going to skip to the second bullet first. So I just talked about single family reconstruction and reimbursement and explained the timelines associated with that. The way that the action plan originally stated was that we had to serve all the reconstruction clients first before we could start issuing those reimbursement checks. Obviously, we want to do that simultaneously so that we can help people reconstruct and also send out reimbursement checks, right? So the action plan language is being updated to allow us to do that. So that's one of the changes, that second one on the list. The Single-family new construction. So this is a program that has not started yet. We are in the planning phases. We're creating program policies for this program. So what we're doing is adjusting the prioritization for single-family new construction only to allow for displaced renters, folks who are living in interim, temporary, like FEMA housing or other sorts of interim housing solutions, to receive priority for those homes that will be constructed. Again, this program's not up and running yet. Program policies will be out very soon, and as soon as applications are available and more information is known, we'll definitely bring that back to everyone. The last one is adding a planning activity. So this planning activity is reallocating funds from the admin pot of dollars into planning, and this will help to update the long-term recovery plan as well as help the County Office of Recovery with some additional planning efforts.
And just to tie things together, you know, the FEMA extension that we got, one of the requirements for us to get that was to help to make sure that we prioritized families that FEMA is helping right now. So essentially, we're meeting that requirement through this update. So I think that's important, just to tie the two funds together. HUD and FEMA are separate, but they do talk to each other and we do work together. All of this stuff is located right here. So please scan that, and then if you have your phone, and then the public comment period has been extended to March 3rd. So all of this you can digest, and you can put your public comments in on anything that we just talked about.